Good morning, or good afternoon at this point, I guess. Hello everyone, welcome in. I'm gonna cut straight to the chase and tell you that today it's a bookish vlog. Yes, it's noon. Did I wake up at 9? And have I been in bed reading for this long? Yes. Did I vlog any of it? No, because I didn't want you to see my just woken up face. That's fine though. I'm up now and just doing my skincare. I suppose I should probably tell you who I am. Hello. If you're new, my name is Charlotte. Welcome in. I do some vlogging, I do some bookish content, I do some sit down stuff. One of my favourite vlogs to make are bookish vlogs. I look a bit of a hot mess today. I'm just doing my skincare. I feel like I need to do a little reading update and catch up with what I've been reading. But first things first, I'm gonna go out. I know it's not a very bookish day of me to go out, but I need to return a book at the library. Believe it or not, I still haven't returned Near the Bones. We had that like 2 or 3 months now. I just keep renewing it. It's a shit book anyway. But I'm also gonna go to Waterstones. There is a new release I want to buy. See if you can guess what it is. It's a Saturday, so I'm not going to be doing any crazy vlogging, but I will try take you along with me on my phone. You know, I get like I'm a bit shy. I don't like filming in public, so I'm just gonna carry on getting changed and then I'll check in properly with you when I'm home. I'm not going to bother putting on any makeup or anything. I'm just going to put some glasses on. Really annoyed because I thought I was going to miss the rain and it's just started raining. It's raining already, so I'm going to have to put a raincoat on. My hair is freshly washed as well for this, but I'm still going to go because I literally don't need to go that far. This is what I'm wearing. Not very rain appropriate, but I'm going to put a raincoat on over the top. I'm back. I didn't get rained on. It spat a little bit, but not that much. I went to Boots because I needed to buy something and I was looking at skincare because I needed some more serum, and this lovely gal like looked up at me and I looked back down. I was admiring her bag and her Converse, and then she was like, oh, I just finished watching your Boots like empties video and I'm just buying some skincare. And I was like, oh my God, that's so nice. And like we had a little chat and I was like, what are you buying? She showed me what she was buying. We spoke about skincare. I just thought it was so nice. It's like a bit crazy that kind of happened, but yeah, I hope she's having a fabulous day wherever she is. I don't know if she'll be watching this. I bought in Boots my usual Beauty of Joseon Glow Serum. I bought some toothpaste. I'm trying a Sensodyne one, and I bought some Got to Be Get Fresh Dry Shampoo Mist. Apparently this is supposed to be a dupe of the K18 Air Wash, and a lot of you recommended it to me. You would like put it in your hair and then blow dry it. So excited to see how that gets. And then the main reason, the whole reason I went into town was to buy Catabasis by RF Kwong. Oh, I wasn't gonna buy this and I just thought, you know what, let's make a day of it. It's £3 off and I had a £10 Waterstones voucher from my loyalty card scheme. So I only paid £9 for it. I would never usually buy a hardback, but here we are. I just think the cover's really nice as well. I was hoping they might have a special edition or some signed editions, and it's a bit scratched already from being in my bag, but oh well. I got a Pret for lunch because I wanted to try one of their new flatbreads. It's not new, but it's new to me. I just ate that and it was really yummy, and I've got a blueberry muffin for later, and I just finished my drink. But anyway, yeah, I got Catabasis by RF Kwong. Don't usually buy a hardback. The inside is lovely. I was hoping there might be like a special edition or a signed copy because I would have got it. For those of you not familiar with RF Kwong, she wrote Yellowface, she wrote the Poppy War trilogy, and she wrote Babel. I think she's an absolute powerhouse of a woman. I think she's so intelligent. I haven't loved all of her books, but one thing I am really impressed at is that she doesn't really tend to sit or exist in one genre as an author. Babel I really enjoyed. I do believe this is also quite based in like magical realism. Do you want me to read you the blurb? Grad student Alice Law has only ever had one goal: to become the brightest mind in the field of analytic magic. But the only person who can make her dream come true is dead and inconveniently in hell. And Alice, along with her biggest rival, Peter Murdoch, is going after him. But hell is not as the philosophers claim. Its rules are upside down, and if she's going to get out of there alive, she and Peter will have to work together. That's if they can agree on anything. Will they triumph or kill each other trying? It's supposed to be quite based on Dante's Inferno. I'm just really looking forward to getting into this. I thought about starting it today, but I currently have like 2 or 3 books on the go, which I'll go through with you shortly, so I feel like I shouldn't start another one. I also thought I might show you 3 other books that I've recently bought on a whim. I say recently, I mean like in the last month or 2. One thing about me is I love impulse buying non-fiction. I bought Darker Magical Places. This is about the neuroscience of how we navigate. I got this from, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like an everything £5 bookstore in the lanes in Brighton. And I love reading about neuroscience. So I went in there wanting a science book. I meant to buy The Count of Monte Cristo today because I know I said I got about halfway through it, not even actually, like 20% of the way through it, but I wanted to give it another crack. But I think I could do that with a physical one. But then I saw it and it is just so long. I also recently bought Eliza Clark's Penance. So I'm kind of on the fence about this. I like Boy Parts. It was okay. A lot of people said this is a lot better than Boy Parts. And I don't really like crime or like true crime. And I know that this is kind of written like a documentary style and is supposed to be more of a commentary on true crime. But I think I will pick it up, but I think I'm putting it off. But apparently this is a lot better than Boy Parts. And then I also bought another non-fiction actually. This is Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential. I've really wanted to read this for a while. So that's going on the list. I am going to stop buying books for quite a little while now because I did end up finishing Immaculate Conception recently, which again was another impulse buy, but I'll talk you through my thoughts on that a bit later. And there's another book, a Fitzcarraldo edition, I can't remember the name of it, that I also in the last like 2 or 3 months have impulse bought. Do you know what I think is really great? In 2024 I didn't buy any books, so not buying books became like second nature to me. It really didn't bother me that I wasn't able to buy any books in the end because I just thought like, oh well. And more recently, I'd say probably like in the second half of the year, I've like remembered that I can buy books. So I bought some books at the start of the year, but I still like wasn't in the habit of buying books because I broke that habit. And now I'm like, oh shit, I can buy books. So I've been going into places like Waterstones and charity shops a lot more when actually I need to utilise the library a bit more this year. Let me put these away. I'm going to straighten up the flat a little bit so I can get comfy, and then I'm going to pick up some more reading. I've honestly had such a busy end of my summer. I feel like really exhausted today. This is the first weekend I've had in ages where I've not had to like get up for something. Sorry, let me just move all the washing up out of the way. So I'm really excited to just like sit and relax. Just move this. Can you see me? I don't think you can. So I'm going to sit down and do a bit of reading and have a little sweet treat. I don't know what book to read because I'm currently reading 2 and they're both a very, very, very different vibe. I haven't had this one in ages. I'm going to have Peach Cobbler by Bird and Blend. I also bought a triple berry muffin from Pret. I love a blueberry muffin. It's like one of my favourite treats. I'm going to leave that to steep for like 5 minutes because I want to put milk in it. I didn't leave much room for milk, to be honest. While that steeps, let's talk about the book that I'm reading. I'm going to lay on the sofa like I'm having therapy. I have to put socks on. I obviously really like the weekend, yeah, but does anyone else feel like immense pressure when they get to the weekend? I do most of my socialising in the week after work because I like to have my weekends free, but then sometimes I arrive in my weekend and I'm like, oh, I should be doing more, or like I see lots of other people doing stuff. And actually every time I have weekend plans, I'm like, I really regret having these plans. The book that I'm reading at the moment, one of them is Negative Space by B.R. Yeager, and this is a horror book. It's quite a horrible horror book, I would say. I don't think it's like a super popular one. It's about a town in America, quite a small town, quite a troubled town, where there's a mass influx of suicides and has been for a really long time. I think we're talking over like 10 years. This is how far I am through 145 pages, and it's kind of giving a cultish mindset. It's giving lots of drugs. I don't really know what's going on. It's not great so far, but it has piqued my interest, and you can see I've got my post-it notes in it because one thing I'm trying to do at the moment is just read my books a bit more intentionally, and I realise actually the writing down of things helps me process a lot. This follows a lot of different characters. Let me show you a page where it's a good example. So like you can see here, there's Jill, there's Lou, and there's Amir, and it's like a bold heading every single time. It's the different perspective of a character, which is not normally something I would reach for in a book. But because this follows like a frenzied group of teenagers all experiencing things in different ways and different levels, it works quite well. It reminds me a little bit of almost like a sitcom or a TV show. And I don't mean a sitcom because that means it's funny. This is definitely not funny. This is very dark. But yeah, I am intrigued. I don't really know at the moment what kind of angle this is going to take, whether it's going to veer into paranormal horror, whether it's going to veer into kind of like cultish occult horror. It's definitely got some kind of like witchy demonic vibes in it at the moment. There's a mental health angle. There's a lot of like teenagers doing drugs. So who knows? It could get really fucking weird, and I'm kind of hoping it does. Oh my God, I'm scared I'm gonna spill. I got this corn cob mug for £1.50 in the Tiger sale. So I'm really happy about it because I've wanted a corn cob mug or jug for a really long time. Got my blueberry muffin. Do you know what? So I would consider myself a blueberry muffin connoisseur. I really don't like when they do the filling, although this filling is quite empty. I just think, just give me a blueberry muffin, a muffin with blueberries in it. Just realised I'm breathing really heavily. I'm gonna start reading this. What page am I on right now? I'm on page 145 and it's 3:30, I think. So I'll come back and I'll keep you updated, but this will be spoiler free. It's like an hour later. I've not made it very far, to be honest, because I kept getting distracted by my phone. I'm only on like page 183, so I've done like 40 pages in an hour, which actually isn't terrible. The weather's really gloomy today and it's made me feel really, really super sleepy. It's definitely feeling super autumnal, which I'm not really ready for. I imagine by the time you see this, we'll probably be like fully in the swings of autumn. This book is getting a bit weirder and it's getting a bit more abstract now. I'm halfway through. I really hoped I'd be able to finish a book today with you all, but I don't know if that's going to be doable and I'm not going to force myself to. It's 4:45. I think it's raining as well. Oh yeah, it's like pouring with rain. Okay, I know what I was saying earlier about, do you ever feel like you don't know what to do on the weekends? This is actually the perfect plan. I'm reading, it's raining, I had a muffin, I've had a cup of tea. I went out this morning and got a nice lunch. I think that's the perfect weekend in. I was thinking about unhauling some books, but I don't think I'll do that now. I might do that a little bit later on. You know what? I'm going to unhaul some of my bookshelf now. I'm going to move some of these frames just out the way a bit. I've never been one of those people that ever really feels like they have to get rid of books, to be honest. I don't really believe in getting rid of books. And I know that sounds so silly, but like one of my goals in life is to have like a really big floor to ceiling, just like bookshelf, or, you know, a home full of books. I don't believe you get there by getting rid of books. That being said, I currently don't have the funds to buy another bookshelf. I don't have the space to buy another bookshelf. So I was looking through my books and I just realised there's a few things in here that feel a bit outdated to me. And while I have space for other books, I just think maybe it's time to pass them on. Should I turn the light on? It's a little bit dim, isn't it? Maybe we should get the tripod. The $1 million question is, I don't actually know where the tripod is. I'm wearing Doug's t-shirt today because I thought it would be like cute and comfy. And it looks really sexy on him. And on me, it's just like, I look a bit Amish. Let me show you my bookshelf in case you haven't seen it. I'll turn off the light actually because you can get a better view of it without. So I have a rainbow bookshelf. I have some trinkets. I have a little radio. I've got some books turned away because they wouldn't fit in their rainbow order. But this is what I mean. So I have this and then I have this, and behind my plants, look how many are sat there as well. You can't really see them, but there's like loads in there. And then it's really dark in my bedroom, so I'm not going to show you, but I have a stack on my bedside table that I usually like my TBR for the month. And I just think maybe there's some books in here that could move. I feel like this is too spooky because you can't see what I'm taking out. I've just seen a book and realised I forgot to talk about my reason for DNFing it in my July reading wrap up. There's a few books that I have that are like really, really old, and I just think like, I don't know why I have them. How to Murder Your Life by Kat Marnell. Like The Devil Wears Prada on crack, the world's smallest font. Pretty sure I took this from like one of those free libraries like years and years ago. And then I Know How She Does It, How Successful Women Make the Most of Their Time. This is one of those toxic productivity books that I think I got when I started my first business. Look, it's got this terrible like schedule in it, which is fine, but it's not for me. Let's take her out. The books that are flipped are usually ones that I don't want anyone to see the covers of. I didn't like Cleopatra and Frankenstein, but this is not about getting rid of books that I don't like. I think this is about getting rid of books that don't feel like they fit with my collection. Wait, haven't I already got that? I've got that twice, haven't I? And I'm going to get rid of The Moon Fix by Teresa Chung. I know enough about the moon. There's so many books in here that I haven't read. So I think what I can do then is try filter in some of these books. So Milk Fed can go in. So often what happens on this shelf here and on this step are all books that I've read recently that I keep out for my reading wrap up. Oh, I just got a bit of a head rush standing up. Once I've reviewed them for my reading wrap up, they can just go in the correct colour order. Crying in H Smart, one of my favourite books ever. Do I sound really out of breath to anyone, or is it just me? Don't answer that. Sunburn can go in. My orange section is really tight and it's the smallest section. Clearing out the Moon Fix has given me room for a purple, which is great because I don't have very many purple books. And then Annihilation. I think I'm gonna unhaul this because I don't like the cover. I liked the book, but I just hate the cover. Let me show you. It's the Netflix cover. Just really not a fan. I'm also gonna unhaul The Prison Doctor. This is really old. The Crystal Bible. That was a gift from someone. And The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, because I have 2 copies of it by mistake. My plan was to put these all out like in the street. I'm gonna unhaul Study for Obedience as well because it's actually such a bad book. I really didn't like it. It's not a bad book, I just didn't like it. So let's unhaul that too. It's a shame because it's beautiful, but I just think it was rubbish and I'll never read it again and I'll never lend it to anyone. Let's unhaul Ariel Levy. The rules do not apply as well. I've had this for maybe 10 years and I've never read it. I'm being ruthless. Instantly, Lynn Truss from the Sunday Times has said it's the best book about sex she's read in a long time, so I'm going to keep it. It doesn't take much to keep me captivated. I was going to put this pile of books out on the street today, but the torrential rain begs to differ. So I'm going to put them by my front door so I don't forget. I'm really happy with that actually. I feel really good that I've managed to remove some from my collection. It's not that I necessarily need to, I just feel like it's refining. I was just going through my bedside pile table and I'm also going to add Filthy Rich Vampire to the unhauling list because I don't think I'm going to read the rest of it. It wasn't bad. Like it was, but it wasn't good bad. I just cleared off my bedside table, which I believe had what was supposed to be my TBR for August left on it. And I'm just gonna head over to my BookTok account. I know I did a video on my August TBR and I wanna see how well I did with it. I've just picked out my August TBR, so let's talk about it. I read 3 out of 4 books on my TBR. That's so fucking good. Okay, so in which case, I'm gonna roll over the Bluest Eye to my September TBR. I'm gonna shelve this, I'm gonna shelve this. I shouldn't shelve this because I feel like it's a good kickoff to autumn, but I'm gonna shelve this. I think it's worth noting that I go on holiday for the 3rd week of September, so I need to lower my physical book expectation and trade in for Kindle. And there's a book I want to buy at the airport. The airport book I'm hoping to buy is Bury Their Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab because it's just come out in hardback and I don't want it in hardback, even though the hardback is beautiful. But the great thing about the airport is the airport has special airport paperbacks, so they do new releases in paperbacks. So I'm hoping I can get that from the airport because I would really like the paperback. So I've put The Bluest Eye on my September TBR. I've put It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over by Anne DeMarkin. This is a short one. Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I'm probably going to do that quite soon. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, either Kindle or paperback. I think I'm also going to add Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. Is that ambitious to do 5? It's not really. It is quite. I did 3 this month and I'll be on holiday. I'm just going to film a quick TikTok of that TBR while it's fresh in my mind. I've just filmed my TBR for September for BookTok and immediately I've spotted a book on my shelf that I want to unhaul that I forgot to. I feel like a lot of people really like this book, so sorry, but it is Tomorrow, Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This is one of the worst books I've ever read. I know I'm making a lot of definitive statements today and I understand that the majority of readers really loved this. It had glowing reviews. I just found it so boring. I thought all the characters were insufferable. I don't even remember when it was that I read it now. It was maybe last summer. Look, I've taken so much stuff out that it's like all falling over. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a really disappointing book. It didn't help that it was like so incredibly hyped up as well. I was thinking about dinner, but I'm feeling like really full from lunch and I ate lunch quite late, to be fair. I feel like the vlog is boring because I've been sat in like the same place like all afternoon, but you know what, it's not boring for me. Let's take this hair down. It's not that dark outside. It's 7 o'clock and the sun hasn't set yet, but I've had to turn every single light on, but I like having the blinds open because I like having natural light. So when it gets to this time, obviously like you can see what everything looks like, but people walk past and they're literally like looking in my flat. It's fine, I can't help that it's gorgeous. But I think I'm gonna move on to a different book. One thing I was supposed to do today is write my reading wrap-ups for August because tomorrow, Sunday, I'm hoping to film my August reading wrap-up. And I like to have my notes and stuff typed up a little bit before because I can always barely remember what I've read. But that is such an annoying job because it takes me like hours and I should have done it earlier in the day, but I haven't. Maybe I will in a bit. Doug is out. He is going to come home soon when the football is done. And then I think we're going to have dinner and watch The Bear. So while we're watching The Bear, I might just do a bit of typing. So in addition to Negative Space, I'm also reading Shark Heart. Has anyone heard of that book? It's by, I can't remember the author, let me tell you, Emily Habeck. A couple of weeks ago, I put out a question box on Instagram asking for the best recommendations of romance books that you've ever read. And I got quite a good few responses. I've uploaded the responses in my books highlight on Instagram. But to summarize, we had a lot of Abby Jimenez, I want to read just for the summer. That actually might go on my TBR for September. We had The Ministry of Time, which was suggested quite a lot, which is great because I received a copy of that as like PR. Song of Achilles was obviously on there. Lots of Olivia Blake, Alone with You in the Ether, which I didn't really like. Let me get out my phone and find the rest of the suggestions. Out on a Limb, which I actually really want to read. 7 Days in June was mentioned a lot. The Wedding People was mentioned a lot. The Fluttershy was mentioned a lot. Those were the most popular recommendations. I only had one suggestion for Shark Heart. Actually, another YouTuber I follow on here called Lexi, or her @ is Newly Nova. I really like all of her content on TikTok and on YouTube. I wish she posted more, but that's so fine. I love everything that she does post. Shark Heart was one of her favourite books, or her favourite romance books. She featured it and it really caught my interest, and I thought, oh, it doesn't really sound like what I might like. And then someone on Instagram suggested that, so I downloaded it because I saw that it was only 99p on the Kindle store. I am 24% in and I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's going to be quite heartbreaking. So essentially the premise is, and this is not a spoilered premise, it's about a couple, Ren and I've forgotten his name already, even though I'm reading it. He gets ill with this mutation. This mutation seems like a normal sequence of events, basically. So it's set on Earth, it's set as what we can tell present day, but for some reason there is a form of terminal illness, which means people mutate from human to animal. And from what I've gathered so far, there's lots and lots of different types of these mutations, and it's incredibly traumatic. The guy in the relationship gets a diagnosis for Carcharodon, whatever it is the disease is called, and he is mutating into a great white shark. And I know this sounds insane. I think it's quite hard to sell, but the way it's written is just like, it's really normal. He'll gradually, over a long period of time, turn into a great white shark. It's obviously like an allegory for a terminal illness, essentially. I don't know if allegory is the right word, so I'm gonna look that up. But yeah, he's mutating into a great white shark over a period of time, and from what I'm gathering so far, it's about their love story and their journey and their relationship and how they're dealing with it. But it is quite poetic and it is quite touching already, and I do think it will just be quite impactful, even though the premise inherently sounds a little bit silly. I think it will surprise me. And I also bought a new notebook. I added another notebook, and I bought a new pen, and I bought this neat like little clippy thing to go on the edge of it. So I've been trying to just read my books more. That sounds really obvious and really stupid, but I'm trying to like write things down and process a lot in my books, and not all of them will require that level of introspection, some more than others. Since the start of the month, I've been annotating my books a lot more. I annotated Giovanni's Room really heavily. I tabbed Immaculate Conception really heavily. Less inclined to comment on Negative Space, but I am putting post-it notes in, and I find it's helping me remember and understand my reads and my books better. And I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't need to be this big like literary analysis, but for something like Negative Space, which has a lot of characters, when I reach the end of a chapter, I'm just writing down the characters and my understanding of their relationship so far, and it's helping me enjoy books more, and it's helping me understand books more, and it's helping me remember books more. What's the point in having read like 50 to 70 books each year for the last 3 years if I can barely remember any of them, if I can remember not even 5 or 10 of them? Someone can ask me what the best book I've read this year is, and I could probably answer it, but if you ask me what the best book I've read in the last 5 years, I'm not going to remember it, no matter how good it was. So I bought this book as a way of kind of like keeping track and condensing everything. So I've started making some notes on Shark Heart. I don't know how to pronounce the brand name, it's German, maybe like Leuchtturm, a gridded square one, because that's what I wanted, and I have this lovely Pentel pen to go with it. The thing is, yeah, I'm always looking at like how to get new hobbies and doing things better, and I realized I don't have time for new hobbies that are like all encompassing. And then I just thought, like, what is a way that I can deepen my understanding of my existing hobbies. And short of reading more books, which I literally don't have the time for, and I don't feel like I need to read 200 books a year, I thought, how can I make my book reading experience more meaningful and become better at reading books? And it's not to say that you need to become better at reading books. I feel like I'm over explaining myself, but you know how I've always said most people aren't just going to go read Russian literature or classics out of nowhere. The type of book you read is like a muscle and a learned skill. And I've been delving out of my usual genres lately, so I'm enjoying taking notes of them. I've been trying out more classics. I want to understand what I'm reading a bit more. I want to understand more literary references. Basically, this all comes down to me wanting to be smarter and me wanting to understand more. I want to get better at reading. I want to get better at literature. Will I ever stop reading Vampire Smut? No. But there is a place for all genres, and I would like to read out of my comfort zone. And you know me, I love writing things down, so why not write down the books I read and the media I consume and my thoughts on it? It's helping me make connections in my books as well, and especially that are a lot of connections. So, you know, when a page 3/4 of the way through references a sentence that they said at the beginning, I can actually go back through and look at my highlight of that and be like, oh yeah, that's not me going crazy. That was intentional and that was purposeful. I don't know. I don't think you have to do it with your books, and I don't think I'll do it with every single book. But I think where I review on TikTok and I review on YouTube, it's helping me become better at reviewing as well. I want to be a good reviewer. I want to be good at what it is I do. I want to make connections. So yeah, that was a long rambling to tell you about my new notebook, but that was a long old path to tell you about my new notebook. But yeah, I love writing things down. I love reading. So why am I not writing about the books that I'm reading? I am going to read some more of Shark Heart while I wait for Doug to come home before I start my dinner. I'm 24% of the way through. I understand that like the pages vary on Kindle, so I'm just going to tell you what it is in percentages. And then at 20 past, I'm going to go put the oven on.